Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a genuinely fascinating collision of two completely different worlds. It's literally the intersection of ancient monastic devotion and modern corporate wellness. We're looking at a reality where silence isn't just the absence of noise, but a living, breathing thing that can be grown, tended, and maybe even bought. Let's hook right into the central mystery here. Listen to this thought from Father Desiderio, an abbot at a remote mountain monastery. What actually happens when a modern wellness corporation tries to essentially acquire a 300-year-old cultivated silence? Because they don't just want a quiet room, they want the underlying methodology of peace itself. Part 1. Cultivating living silence, the grammar of quiet. Let's establish what these monks at this remote, high-altitude monastery are actually doing with their time. Because they aren't just wearing earplugs and avoiding conversation, right? They're tending to silence as if it were a living crop. There's even a specific word for it, vorith. It's that exact moment just before a cultivated silence becomes self-sustaining. The monks treat silence not as an empty room, but as a presence. It's literally a kind of birth that requires careful, devoted attention to actually thrive. 307. Think about the sheer weight of that time. That is exactly how many years the monastery's third bed of silence has been continuously tended. We're talking generations of monks, walking cold stone paths in their socks, offering their absolute focused attention to allow this specific quiet to reach a geological depth. Which brings us to part 2, the corporate proposition, the modern sickness. You see, a silence this profound, it eventually attracts attention from the outside world. Enter the Heyward-Crescent Corporation. They're a giant in experiential wellness, and they send a formal letter proposing to acquire this exact cultivation methodology. Now, it's really crucial to understand they aren't villains here. They recognize a genuine exhausted noise in modern society. You know, the continuous hum of our anxieties or notifications. They're just seeking evidence-based environmental conditions for psychological restoration. They want to scale the monk's cure and bring it to the masses. Part 3. The boardroom demonstration, opening the seal. To show the corporate execs what they're actually trying to buy, a monk named Brother Anh travels down from the mountain to the city. He brings a portable silence, sealed in a ceramic pot, right into a sleek boardroom. So, how do you even transport silence? Well, this portable version isn't the 300-year-old master key. Instead, the monks grew a 4-year-old seedling, placed it near the ancient bed for 3 days so it could receive an impression, and then sealed it in wax, kind of like a new key held against a master key long enough to carry its warmth. When Brother Anh breaks that wax seal in the boardroom, the reaction is profound, and it is immediate. For Celincelli, the director of acquisition, her face just softens. She experiences a feeling of immediate arrival. All that tension of her professional ambitions, it literally just drops away. Then we have Priya Vas, an experiential designer who spent 15 years building float spas and acoustic chambers. She realizes instantly that this cultivated silence operates on a completely different level than any engineered corporate soundscape. It's not an absence of noise, it's a dense, comforting presence. But honestly, the most striking reaction comes from Thomas Garrett. He's this guarded corporate lawyer. They're strictly to worry about indemnification clauses. But his wife has been struggling with relentless mental noise at home. After the seal is broken, Garrett writes down a single sentence. I was, for approximately 8 minutes, not afraid of anything. He's moved to tears. I mean, that is the market value of what they are experiencing. Part 4. The devotion hypothesis. The core conflict. This brings us to a crucial question. Can you separate this incredible healing effect from the monks who spend their entire lives growing it? Can you scale the sacred? This is the core philosophical debate of our explainer. We have to separate the mechanism from the devotion. The mechanism? That's the mountain air, the bespoke ceramic vessels, the acoustic geometry. But the devotion? That's the generations of human attention and spiritual practice. So can the physical mechanism survive without the spiritual devotion? Brother Anh warns that all these variables are inextricably intertwined. If you just take the blueprints for the rooms and the pots, but remove the settled, devoted attention of the monks, you might not get profound peace. You might just produce the acoustic equivalent of processed food. You know, something that looks exactly like the real thing, but totally lacks all the actual nourishment. Part 5. The 5-year experiment. The synthesis. Rather than just doing a simple, cynical financial buyout, the designer pre-evolves proposes something incredibly brave, a radical, intellectually honest test. They agree to a 5-year partnership. The corporation agrees to build a custom facility and provide secular tenders. In return, the monastery provides wild seedlings, documentation, and training. The goal here is simple. Let's see if ordinary people, without monastic vows, can actually grow a profound silence. If they can, the cure can be scaled. If they can't, well, they've proven that human devotion is an irreplaceable ingredient. And to ensure a perfectly fair test, Brother Anh doesn't give them a silence that's already been loved by monks. Instead, he finds a wild, untended 20-year-old silence growing naturally in a forgotten root cellar. It is the perfect baseline. It absorbed the quiet of the mountain, but no monk ever actually laid hands on it. So who's going to tend to it in the corporate facility? Priya doesn't go out and hire meditation gurus. She recruits secular people who have a proven, lifelong capacity for sustained, unglamorous attention. People like Camille, a former palliative care nurse, who's totally used to sitting with those who cannot speak. And Hiroshi, a traditional papermaker, whose hands just know how to listen to his materials. Meanwhile, back at the monastery, Brother Anh has to convince the elders to agree to this whole thing. And his argument is just beautiful. He says, hoarding this silence away on an inaccessible mountain contradicts its very purpose. As he puts it, the silence is not for us. It never was. We are the medium, not the destination. Basically, if this piece can help a sleepless wife in the city, they have a moral obligation to try and share it. And so, the corporate cultivation room gets built, but not with cheap concrete. They build it with reclaimed 17th century wood and compressed earth. When Brother Anh visits the completed empty room, he sits on the stone floor and feels something incredible. The space feels eager. It's Vorith. Even before the silence arrives, the honest attention put into building the room has made it ready. Which leaves us with the profound dilemma at the heart of this explainer. If we prove that the sacred can be scaled and industrialized, what magic do we lose in the process? But on the flip side, if true peace strictly requires lifelong monastic devotion isolated on a mountain, who are we leaving out in the cold, noisy world? It really forces us to ask, where are you directing your own daily attention? Think about that the next time you search for a moment of quiet. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the noise.